My name is Will, and
My name's Dan.
and this is the VR slicing game, which is a working title. We've been experimenting with some others, but none that I feel confident enough in to have updated this. And we're going to be telling you about some of the work we've been doing on this project over break and how we'd like to take it through the rest of the semester. So the core idea of the game is a VR sword fighting game where there are objects in an arena that the player can slice into tiny little chunks as detailed in this demo video. And trying to focus on that sort of game feel and those mechanics and refining it to a really nice degree is the core idea of this game. Here is a mood board. We've kind of thrown this together a little bit from when we were talking about ideas for our design and for our art direction. We've thrown out some words like steampunk and like kind of ancient technology feeling.
Like future fantasy, kind of like I think Breath of the Wild. Like, you could say.
And but I'd really like if we could fall somewhere in between there, like some kind of grimy, like nuts and bolts things, as well as, you know, being contrasted by these really nice high-tech fantasy style weapons. But anyone who would be coming in as like a design focus or an art focus, we would want a little help because the team right now is largely programmers and we could use a little direction with our direction. You want to take a go at this one?
Yeah, so right now we have like two main things or three main actions. We can teleport around our like arena. You can grab objects.
I'm sorry, can people on the Zoom hear?
Oh,
Let's swap position.
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
so yeah, currently we have three current actions, which is teleporting across our arena, grabbing like health pickups or later on stamina pickups. And then for the action, we have sword swinging and with your right arm and blocking with your left. Or I'm sorry, blocking with your right with the sword in hand. So the idea would be that you could slash at like your enemy, but also hold your sword in a position perpendicular to your enemy slashes to block. So with our enemy types, we will start with a tutorial level that is mainly a dummy, they're static, just to show you the attacking and this simple stuff. With the robot, we're going with more of like mechanical slow motion and then teaching you more how to block as their attacks are very slow. With the cyborg, they're going to be moving more quickly. They'll probably start rotating the blade. So the idea would be you block in more actions. And then person, which is more similar to the cyborg, but they're slightly weaker since, I mean, they're human, they're flesh and bone. Let me go
So the basic gameplay loop of this idea is that you're going to spawn in an arena, in a VR arena. You're going to be opposite of an opponent, either one of the human enemies, one of the cyborg enemies, a robot. And you're going to get the simple instruction to destroy that opponent. You can engage them in sword combat, and you're using up health as you get hit and endurance as you're blocking. And if you need to restore those resources, you can, you know, disengage, teleport away from the combat, and start slicing up objects around the arena to look for health pickups and endurance pickups. And then once you're back up to snuff, re-engage that enemy and keep going in combat until the very end when you've defeated the enemy. And when they're done, the idea is that you would be able to slice up said enemy into little bitty pieces. So here's our basic scope. For a minimum viable product, for the least that we could submit, we would want all of our main mechanics and our player actions, our basic game flow, and at least one solid enemy type. And then from there, once we have that to stretch it further, we'd like all of our enemy types, building a narrative, with the narrative idea being this kind of carnal rage feeling that I think you can only kind of get, you get in a lot of games. Take like Doom, right? The idea of, this embodiment of rage as a character. I think putting that in VR makes it a lot more personal, and I'd love to try and get that across in a narrative. But the main focus needs to be the gameplay before you can make something like that work. Maybe multiple stage environments, depending on how much we have an art focus on the team. And I'd really love to do a boss fight, because one of the things we found in testing is that having a very, very large thing to slice up is really, really fun. So yeah, because that sense of scale in VR is ludicrous. But this is it as far as we'd like to accomplish in this game. Big challenges that we foresee would be trying to get that sword swing feeling just right, since it's the main mechanic, since everything relies on that. It has to be great. Building AI opponents in sword fighting games in VR is a little notoriously difficult. But I think we can do it, since we're trying to keep that minimum viable product simple. And then maybe, depending on how we jerry-rig it, slicing a complex mesh is really difficult, because right now a mesh has to be convex, aka like it's a solid shape with no holes or dents or weird things in it. Then it slices well, otherwise it looks really wonky. So that could end up being a challenge as well, trying to make that look good or feel good. This is where the slides end, but basically what we're looking for to join our team, we would be really lucky if we could get a dedicated 3D artist, as well as somebody like a writer, or a visual.
We said like a director, someone who's directing.
Somebody to keep our mechanically focused programmer minds on track to make something that's appealing visually and feels good. So whatever that role would be called, a writer or somebody who's directing, a director. We would really like that sort of role as well. So a 3D artist and a writer. If you're not any of those, but you still want to work on it, we'd love to talk about it at the very least, because we could probably make something work. But those are our big desires right now. Thank you so much, everybody, and we hope to talk to some of y'all.